obviously, charging stations have to operate in a myriad of environments. So, I can imagine it's extreme from Alaska all the way down to the Florida Keys, and there's a lot in between there. What are the unique requirements for payment devices at these stations? You can walk us through some of the things that you have to consider.
Yes, so obviously EV charging is outdoor unattended. So all the traditional outdoor unattended requirements applies, right? Extreme temperature, sunlight, and extreme sunlight, because typically nothing to block the sun come to the screen or come to the devices, right? So a lot of standard shock, vibration, water, dust applies, but there's some unique challenges, unique requirements. So one example is you mentioned Alaska. So the places, they are just colder than normal, right? And payment devices has security requirement, right? Has other requirements. So most payment devices, for outdoor payment devices, will work from say minus 20 degree to plus 70 degree. They're all Celsius. So you think that's plus 70 degrees is very hot, but in reality it's not. Right? So think about a payment device. Typically, we work with a lot of EV charger manufacturers. For the user experience and the looks of the overall charging station, they would like to embed the payment devices inside their chargers. But think about charger. Inside the charger, they carry a lot of current. So it is extremely, extremely hot inside the charger. So therefore, we have customers say, hey, can you increase the 70 degree to a high degree temperature? So we actually specifically design something we'll go with from minus 40 degree to plus 85 degree, which is very, very unique in the payment industry. Right? So that's example of you need something that's really not only ruggedized, but very, very uniquely suitable for the EV charging space, where you can go extremely cold to extremely hot, right? Not a normal, very cold, very hot, extremely cold, minus 40 C, to extremely hot. Because we're not saying that the weather forecast 85 degrees C, it never happens, right? But when you embed your device inside another device, it can easily reach 80 degrees C inside the EV charger. Of course, the additional requirements we see, water is very important, because you do not want to replace your EV charging payment terminal very often. And also, as both of you mentioned, that is when payment is down, what do you do, right? So there's a lot of problem. You want to have very high reliability. So in addition, instead of the typical water resistance, because when people say, hey, my device is IP65 certified, well, it is true. I can tell you IP65 to us in the real world means nothing. The 5 is for water. It's stream water with pressure. You think, oh, that's great. So somebody is spraying water into my device. That's a very, very solid test. But nobody pays attention. In the international standard, the stream water only applies to the device for the whole 3 minutes. That's very, very short. In addition, they do not test whether the device is water sealed, waterproof. All IP65 say after spray for 3 minutes, the device still functions. I tell you, most devices after spray for 3 minutes, they will still work. They may not work tomorrow, right? So it's very, very different. So what we do is we learn from our past. That is, when we do these tests, we do 10 different days, continuous days. Each day we spray for 30 minutes. And we open the unit up after 10 days to see if there's any water in there. So there's a lot of real life ruggedized environment that you need to design to actually work in this environment. Of course, in the EV charging space, especially for AC chargers, because AC chargers are inexpensive, right? And so people want the payment terminal to be small, right, and to be low cost. Also, no surprise, people making EV chargers almost knows nothing about payment, right? they do not want to get involved to learning how the payment works. So whatever you do, the ease of integration and the ability to provide a turnkey solution, tell the customer everything is finished, is extremely important. We actually earlier talked about unconventional players and unconventional merchants. We actually have a customer who's selling EV chargers with our payment services online to homeowners. You say, why would homeowner buy an EV charger with payment function? Take a guess. Which homeowner will buy a EV charger for home use and take payment?
Someone who wants to make money from it?
Yes. No, not just this. Think about
The mother-in-law
Airbnb operators. Right? It's a huge market. So anybody here makes inexpensive chargers? Think about target that market, right? And because it's necessary. You want to advertise, just like somebody was saying that is last section they were talking about. You go to a hotel, you want to check for hotel with EV charging, so you know when you stay overnight, you can get your car charged. Next day you're ready to go. And same thing for the Airbnb customers. So if you operate Airbnb and you have a $350, which is an inexpensive charger, they can take payment. Now all of a sudden your property is top of the list of any EV drivers. Right? So yeah, there's a lot stuff in the EV charging payment ecosystem.
So of all those extreme environments, extreme cold, dust, water, very dry, temperature, what do you think is the most difficult of all the different vectors of potential difficulty as far as the environment goes?
Most difficult one in terms of, because we make the devices, for us, the most difficult one is plus 85-degree requirement. Heat. It's not just because you cannot make it work. I can make any device work at 85 degrees. I can even make a lot of devices work at 100 degrees. The problem is when you stress electronics at extreme temperature, high temperature, you significantly reduce product life, which we do not want to see, especially for outdoor unattended application, because the maintenance of a device is extremely expensive, and you send somebody to the remote places to replace the device, right? And meanwhile, the device is out of commission. So extreme heat is the most difficult one.
Well, I think we have a couple minutes left, so if there's a question, we might probably have time for one.